those who can't say no.
Yeah. And we rely on wonderful, wonderful helpers. Laura, our greeter. Doug, our videographer.
Evelyn Raleigh, tech crew.
Tech people.
And a lot of them.
Jeannie.
Yeah, Jeannie. And the other members.
Website. David, PR guy. So, and there's more. So, if you want to join us, we're always looking for more. So you can help us.
In fact, there's a leadership meeting tonight after today.
Right after this meeting.
Yeah. After this meeting. So if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about what the leadership team is about and what we do here, please talk to us, and we'll be meeting afterwards.
Yes, I love it. So, how many are new to Nevada County Online? 1, 2, 3. Welcome, and please shout out how you heard about us. Judah?
I did.
Brian. Good, Brian. Newspaper. Newspaper.
I got an email from someone programming my website, Diane Blakely. She told me about it this morning.
Great.
Well, welcome. We have a lot of members, and we present wonderful, incredible speakers every month to help you learn how to do your business online. And many of you are repeat customers.
Yeah, we should take a moment there to get in some specifics. We meet the 4th Tuesday of the month, 11 a.m., that's why you're here. And we have speakers that speak on a variety of different topics, from e-commerce to search engine optimization, email marketing, web design. Our meetings are videoed, so thanks to Doug, they will be put onto the website, so you can go to Nevada County Online to see the videos of any past presentations. And we are a collaborative community. Our goal here is to have a tide that raises all of our ships and share information. And that's really important because there are people here who are service providers, a lot of small businesses, and people working to do everything from doing ebooks to email marketing to whatever the heck I do. So one of the things we like to do at every meeting is have a session where you can share some wins or whatever questions or obstacles that you have that you think the community can help you out with. So let's open the floor to that and take some wins. So if you got something you've done recently that's pretty cool for internet marketing, let us know. What is it?
When my website went down this week, I learned FTP to get it back up.
We're so sorry, but we're glad you now know.
I'm happy that it happened because now I can do it by myself.
And who helped you?
Oh, Evelyn.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I was the second call and I said, have you talked to Evelyn?
I found that call makes the whole I did it myself thing much easier.
Okay.
Good. Who else?
I'm Leanne Brooke. I was on the founding board of Nevada County Online. I've been quite a while. I have a graphic design background. I'm a painter, and I have a new book that's just been released, which is why I'm here to hear Barry. And this was actually commercially printed. It's not on demand. It's not a do-it-yourself. I did the design and writing, and it's printed in China. And thank God for the internet is all I can say, because I think, you know, when I started 40 years ago in design and marketing, internet didn't exist, and now it's like I can't keep up with how fast I should be doing things to market the book.
But you do a really good job, Leanne, I have to say.
Well, I don't sleep, so.
I knew there was a secret.
Evelyn.
I was just at an event on Sunday down in Walnut Creek with a woman who is called On Stage with Julia, and she's a wonderful person who helps teach people how to public speak. And so she's gonna come up here and offer a class. So I get to be kind of like her coordinator and find a place to have it and then split the revenue. So that was kind of a fun connection. So if anyone's interested in learning how to speak, she's wonderful. She has an entertainment background. She's even a trick roper, so she's a really fun person. So I'm going to be setting up a time and date, and we're going to have her come up and do a class.
Very good job.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I don't have a forte online that anyone else has, but I'm a recent author of SimpleObtainableSolutions.com. My name is Mel Hebert, and mine was printed right here by Grass Valley Printers. And I took the liberty to print 500 copies, and slowly but sure they're getting out there.
Nice.
Good.
Thanks. This being perfect.
Dan's teaching a Write Your Story workshop March 14th, and I have a flyer and cards in the back.
Yay.
The flyer was designed by Ellen, and the picture of me was by Douglas Hooper, people from here. But I'm going to be videotaping this workshop, so if anyone here wants to be part of it, I'll give you a deal, super good deal on the price. So grab a card and just call me.
Okay.
Yes. Our original founder.
The first quote.
Can we give these guys a round of applause because they have just carried us on. Okay, I'm just going to ride on Jan's coattails. So there's a free Lunch and Learn series going on at Sierra Commons. How many of you have not heard of Sierra Commons? Raise your hand. Awesome. Okay, one person. Okay. So Sierra Commons is a co-office working space, and there's just a lot of us coming together to teach and learn together, similar to what we're doing here, but it covers the whole gamut of business. So I am giving a free social media class, Lunch and Learn, Bring Your Own Brown Bag Lunch, on Tuesday, March 3rd from 12 to 1:15. And the topic is going to be on social media marketing, specifically for small businesses. So come join us. It's going to be at Sierra Commons this Tuesday, March 3rd from 12 to 1:15. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Brenda.
Okay, I want to make sure that we leave room for Barry Friedman and his presentation. Anybody, one last one? Do we have anything else? Good? Well, we'll see you back here next week, but for this week, let's welcome our speaker. Next month.
Yeah.
I was up to the empty building. Yeah.
So who is this Barry Friedman guy?
I met Barry Friedman because I came to Grass Valley and I was looking for people to entertain me. And eventually I saw Barry as that great opportunity, whether it was around a campfire with a beer or at one of his shows. Many of you may know Barry because of his professional entertainment career. He is a 4-time world juggling champion. He is the taller, charming-er half of the Raspini brothers, an act that has done command presidential performances and has done more corporate shows than you could throw a sponsored Buick at. So Barry recently wrote a book called I Love Me More Than Sugar. And seeing everything that he'd done for his promotional career and as an educator, figured out, okay, let's get on TV, let's get promotion. So he's been very successful at developing a system to get a lot of free media coverage, where you can go in, do some tricks with the bullwhip if you've got that, and from there, get a lot of people to learn what you're doing. So let's bring Barry up.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Co. The Co's who can't say no.
That's right.
I like when Brenda came up, she's like, I've learned how to say no. And I'll just read, I'm out. That's so cool. So you guys, thank you for coming. This is really neat. I knew this wouldn't be the biggest Nevada County Online because the title probably scared the heck. Getting on TV. And I'm sure there's all kinds of people who are part of this group that said, I can't go on TV. So the guys who are here, this didn't scare away, and I just love that. We're going to get into what I did, why I did it, how I did it. I'll be here for live Q&A. I live here in town, so if you see me around, you go, hey, I'm trying to do this thing. Just pick on me. I'd love to have you guys make this happen. So good, let me just get the juggling talk out of the way. That always has to happen. Such a big part of my life. I was 15 years old, had no idea why I was put on this planet. At a summer camp one day, a guy taught me to juggle. Since then, I have done over 200 television shows. I've won 4 world juggling championships. Got very invested in the corporate market. I learned early on that these companies have these meetings in the nicest places in the world, and they pay very well. So it was great. It's a bit of fame without having any fame, and a nice life. 6 TED Talks. I tied in with the TED people very early when it was still a Billionaires Boys Club, and been on 6 TED stages and 2 TEDx stages. 4-time world juggling champions. And March 14th, after the TED performance, my 6th one up in Vancouver, I told my partner, who I've always done my shows with, who I didn't give photo credit to today, I'm going to take a year off doing this. So I have not done a juggling show in 1 year. March 10th, I'm going to Maui for my first show in a year back, and it's been amazing to just step away from it. And I recommend everyone do this if they can, step away from what you're used to doing. I built a tree house in this year, awesome tree house up in our One Dancing with the Stars, the local version here. I'm literally the first person in my lineage who walks upright, so this was a huge... The juggling thing is great. I told my dance partner, Marnie Marshall, who was amazing, I'm great from the waist up, the juggling thing, no problem with, but I just never, the walking, it's just been one step at a time. So to learn to do 2 dances was amazing. Thriving coaching practice. I built a coaching practice over the year. I've always wanted to see what it was like to work one-on-one with entertainers, really helping them take their act from where it was to the next level. I've done it online with online programs, with group coaching programs, but the one-on-one thing, boy, it's been phenomenal, and it was fun to build that. Wrote my book, there it is, I Love Me More Than Sugar. Also did my 3rd year, February 28th, I'll celebrate my 3rd year with no sugar in my body. No processed, refined sugar. Happened just on a whim. Just like when Corianne said, you want to come speak here? I'm go, sure. And that's the same way sugar happened for me. So it built into an online membership site, it built into a book. Got my book to #1 on Amazon and did 23 television appearances. Here's why we're here today.
Joined by Barry Friedman, who is author of I Love Me More Than Sugar. He's been on the show
to show us how the whole family can juggle a life without sugar is Barry Friedman.
And it's a decision we have to make. Do we want to keep eating like we've always eaten, or do we want to decide who we want to
You're an author, you're a public speaker, you do motivational speaking.
I do.
You're a world champion juggler.
I just got back from my 6th TED Talk.
For the first time in your life, you can actually decide the relationship you want with sugar.
Sugar, for me at least, is an actual addiction.
Proven one thing for sure, the thing sugar-free does not stimulate hair growth. You can't pronounce it, or there's a cartoon character on the label. It's probably
Great rule to live by.
No sugar, are you kidding me?
Here people reaching for their remotes. Get this guy off my screen!
You decided that you were just going to quit sugar cold turkey.
Yeah, leap day 2012, my 9-year-old said, what are you going to leave? We had just eaten a big frozen yogurt, and I said, I felt terrible. I said, I'm going to go off sugar. March 1st, I just never went back.
You're a tall, slim man. You tell me what it was not always. This is the result of the lack of
These are high school pants right here. I'm back in high school pants.
I can't get my high school pants on one leg.
Bribe, rewarded, and punished with different forms and amounts of sugar, right? You're such a good girl. Let's go get an ice cream.
Yeah.
You're a bad boy. No dessert for you. Right? It just keeps happening, and it's not surprising. 2 of the first 3 ingredients in most baby formulas, different forms of sugar. It stimulates this reward system. Yeah, dopamine is the same one that gets triggered when you gamble, and sex, and drugs. So there's no chance of addiction there, of course. This is what happens to the organ thing. No idea what to do. Go.
Okay. Where, I'm ready to Harvard.
Jelly sandwich. I'm sure a lot of people will serve their kids this for lunch. This has actually the same amount of sugar as 3 Twinkies. Grab that bowling ball for a second, Scott. Take a look. That's 8 pounds.
That's an 8-pounder, yeah.
That is how much sugar your lovely children will eat every 3 weeks this summer. The racket, that's about exercise, what our bodies are made to do. And then an apple, absolutely the healthiest type of sugar in the world. You can see which one's causing the trouble. You eat the apple. For the first time in their life, people get to feel what it's like to be far enough away from the addiction, decide who they want to be with sugar.
Barry, I love your energy.
Barry, you are so animated. I love you, Barry. Thank you.
Should I go on the first try or this one's on purpose? I love that she has a tattoo that says courage. That's really what this is demonstrating. Really, my message is, let's quit counting on other people, school administrators, government officials, charismatic leaders, anybody to change this. It's a personal decision, because this thing reaches the mouth. That's
exactly. We get it. We'll cut the sugar.
All right, that's it. So that's that's a sizzle reel, and everything I've done in the last year has been about creating that. Every sound bite, every costume, every look, I've always built, reverse engineered, what do I want this sizzle reel to look like when I send it to the Today Show, when I send it to Good Morning America. So that's something I have in mind since the beginning, and we'll talk about that today. So today's oath, I want you guys just to raise your right arm. If you really want to get into it, go ahead and stand up, or you can stay down. I promise not to sit here and come up with proof for why all of this works for Barry, but it won't work for me. I know when I talk to groups about this, when I talk to groups about anything, there's a part of us, the ego, and it's really mad at you for being here right now. It's mad at you for thinking you can do something that you haven't yet done. So it's going to protect you. So here's how it goes. If during this presentation my brain starts coming up with such reasons, I promise to silently raise my hand. This is my way of telling my lizard brain, that part of me that fears and resists change, to hush up and allow me to remain in the realm of possibility and dream bigger. All right, for this hour, you guys good to do that?
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Because this is stuff's going to come up and go, oh, it worked for him because he can juggle. It worked for him because he's tall and bald. It worked for him. Blah, 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 blah. That little lizard brain's going to shoot off. I'm here to tell you I was in a workshop, I'll talk about that later, with people who couldn't get through a sentence without crying. They're on TV. Who had no charisma whatsoever, who were scared to stand in front of a room. They got on TV. So you can do all this stuff if your message is something you actually want to share. So why TV? We do TV for surprise. This is a weird surprise. I didn't realize this, but people, let's sit down, still watch TV. I remember the day I turned it off. I think it was about 16 years ago. I mean, right now I'm a piece of work. I don't watch news. I was down in San Diego this weekend. The thing with ISIS on, it's like, I didn't even know that was happening. I mean, I'm terrible. There's ugly stuff happening in the world. And what I do is I kind of live in a realm where I can create my own reality, and I hope my world helps other people. But, well, I did know about the ISIS thing, just seeing pictures of it and all, it's too much for me. So people are watching TV. There's a lot going on. I wanted to go offline for customers for my 30 Days Sugar-Free program, 30dayssugarfree.com. I wanted to see what it was like. I had gotten the Facebook thing working, the Google advertising. I had traffic coming to the site. I wanted to see what does it look like to actually get customers when they don't come through the internet. I wanted to sell more books. I had just written this book, and I thought, wow, how do you sell a book? How do you get it to #1? How do you get a message out? How do you get buzz going? TV. Traffic to membership site, covered that one. And what does TV give you? It gives you social proof and authority. All these logos, these are stations I put on now. So right now I just have a picture of me with these 5 networks, and I'm going to add CNN, I'm going to add Today's Show, I'm going to add MSNBC. I'm just growing all this list right now. And that's where all, as I told you, that's where all targets are aiming for me right now. Today's Show and Good Morning America. Everything I do in this market is just aimed at getting on those shows. Because I was been in workshops in Los Angeles, which I'll talk about at the end, where when you're on this show, if you land a spot on the Today Show, life becomes very different very quickly. Exponentially. Every curve in your life starts to look like a hockey stick. No matter if you think you've done well in something, this happens to it. And I want to experience that. This is a message I live. It's changed my life. I believe in. And it's kind of what I'm doing with the second half of my life. So who's this for, this workshop today? How do we, and we took the oath, all right, so I know we're all here. This is for authors with or without a finished book. It's for speakers, experts. There's 3 kinds of experts in the world. Educated, you went to school in this is something you've studied. You've experienced it, you've been a, whatever you've done your whole life and you have experience in it. And then the research, and this is really what I was. This was the expert model I chose in this. I didn't go to school, I'm not a nutritionist, not a doctor. College was 2 of the worst weeks of my life, in fact. So what I did is I got into it, I studied, I listened to interviews, interviewed experts, wrote a book, just kept going. And that's the kind of expert, and that's perfectly fine for being on TV, any of those 3. The niche and the interest is almost irrelevant, really. Anything you can talk about, if it will help other people, we'll dig into that a bit more. And having some plan to monetize all the attention you're going to get with a service or a product, that's a big piece of it. There were people in my workshop that gathered up some money to go to this workshop, put in the 4 days, sat in this think tank, and at the end of it they went, wow, I don't really have anything to sell. You know, I can get on TV, but what am I going to do with it? I'm very interested in knowing the end and then building the path to it. Same as my sizzle reels, kind of just the way my twisted little brain works. Good. And then a desire to be a leader in your field. TV can help you do that so fast. Remarkable what those little logos do to you as far as authority and being able to build your network and connect with others. Good, so some real life facts about TV. I already told you, people watch it, unbelievable. TV is hungry. News shows eat through content so fast, and every day they're looking for what's happening in a week, and the next week, and a month, and what's happening. Not only this, but wow, this segment worked really good on Valentine's Day. Let's get some things lined up for next Valentine's Day, and what else can we do? So TV is hungry. It eats segments like crazy, so keep finding ways to feed it. Network affiliations give you authority. I covered that. TV loves news hooks. Probably the #1 thing that was stressed on me in this workshop I went and did in LA about being on news shows. TV loves hooks. We'll do a slide on hooks in a little while. And then TV is 2 parts. I really understood this having been on a couple hundred TV shows as a comedy juggler, but TV is sound and it's the picture. So what are they seeing and what are they hearing? And really, if we can raise the bar on both, we're going to be a really favored guest. I think I've made 5 appearances on that Good Morning Reno, and I just did the last one last Friday, and the gal reached over and hugged me. I love your advice and all that. Build relationships with these people. She's helping me connect with some people in New York right now, so there's a lot to be said for the building relationships and really peaking in this. So getting rid of perfection, probably one of the most important places in my life. Juggling knives, it was really good to be perfect. You know, that was like a thing I worked so hard on. And I like always made sure I caught him by the handle. And you know, if it was like a quarter over flipped, I just got out of the way and let it go. TV, segment proposals, it's never going to be perfect and it's never going to be ready. Really, you just have to decide, is it good enough? And when you get to a place where you feel like, oh, I can at least get one foot in front of the other to get there, you can light up and do this stuff. So TV doesn't want you to advertise your product, so you never say, go to my website and find my product. You let them say, you have more information about this on your website. And yeah, you have that. And when you get there, there's some means in place to collect names and email addresses. We've talked about that in NCO ad nauseum, building a list and getting information. So, well, they don't want you to say, hey, there's a 30-day sugar-free program that you can do for $97, and they coach you. They just say, is there more information about it? Yeah, there's more information. Head to the website, or the recipes for what I made on the show today are on the website. They'll gladly channel their viewers to your website, but not directly to buy your product. Good. Questions?
Why is that? Why
I
don't
move
you
so fast.
directly
Because,
channel?
yeah, they're worried about it feeling like an infomercial.
Okay.
And they really want to keep their credibility. And it's great. There was one segment where somebody got me talking about my product, and it was terrible. It looked so wrong.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the rest of the show. All of a sudden it started to feel like, yeah, I'm selling something, and didn't want it to go that way.
Why do you think you've not gone on GMA yet?
There's a threshold they really hold in that. There's a number of book sales, there's a number of TV shows. Once I get I have 24, 25 local shows now. Once I get to 50, I'll be able to hit them really hard. So right now, I just spend a lot of time getting on the airplane, getting on the phone, booking some shows. Like in Albuquerque, you can go and do 4 segments or 5 segments in a day, which is awesome. So, so you fly there on a quick flight. Yeah.
You mentioned a number of networks and news shows you've been on. Have you heard much of like other shows, like variety shows like Dr. Oz or Oprah?
Yeah,
or
those are things that come after the Today Show and Good Morning America. Yeah. They're like the next rung on the food chain. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. You do a whole bunch of local shows to get your chops down, get a sizzle reel together, get your message out, get the sound bites you want to share, start to find out how you can affect people, the change you can make. And then you'll move up to, there's national shows like Daytime or Emotional Mojo. There's a couple of these shows that play nationally, like in 120 markets. And I haven't even stepped into those yet. I still feel like I'm a little baby stepping it here, just really refining who I want to be on these shows. Takes a bit of practice. So, yeah, good questions. That's where I'm headed. So let's talk about some of the moving parts involved in getting on a TV show. Segment producer. This is a person who their whole life is just, it's broken up into like 3 and 4 minute chunks of a day. And most local news are on from 5 to 7. So they have 2 hours to fill in the mornings. And you know, a lot of it's repeating. They still do weather and traffic on news. I didn't even know that. I mean, you have it on your phone. I don't understand exactly why we need the green screen and the pretty person to do the weather and traffic, but there it is. You know, haven't really caught up with the time, so that's a big chunk of the news. But then there's always some segments with authors, with what's happening in the community. And then they'll just repeat the news programs. I mean, some of you guys watch news, I'm not judging anyone, but you don't even have to raise your hand. Some of you knew what was on, I know that. You knew they still did TV news. But yeah, they'll repeat stories. It was really interesting to stand in the green room and kind of watch this and see. And then when they bring something new on, like me or another guest, it's so good. It's so exciting to break it up. So segment producers are the people that book the guests. They're the ones you're going to call on the phone. Let me back that up a second. All this is handled in calls. I actually talked about this a little while. Segment proposals. I brought some of these for you guys to look at. And there's also a website, Sugar-Free Berry. Feel free to bring up. All my segment proposals are on there. You guys can pass these around. There's 4 different ones there. So a segment proposal is a single page. It's a PDF. You email them, and it's printable for them. And just about every TV show I've ever been on, while I'm doing the show, the PDF is printed out on the table with circled. So it's really good to, one of those, I just started putting the questions to ask me right on the segment proposal. That's really nice. And
Don't surprise me.
yeah, don't surprise me. So it's funny, I think about these TV shows. This is my inner game when I'm backstage getting ready to go on. I think this is your show, except for the 4 minutes it's my show. That's really what I do, and I go out there and I just take it over. I'm kind of like a force on these things. And you don't have to be. I've seen people do them where they're really waiting for the question and it's more timid. Don't go, oh my gosh, the big, huge, bald guy is so loud. That's just my style. That's the way I can communicate my message out really well. And I'm talking about a topic where it's health. It's people can look at their energy, at who they want to be. And I was mushed down on sugar on my whole life until 3 years ago. And things change, so I like to demonstrate that on TV. And it's kind of fun to do that. So one different segment proposal for each segment you do. And you'll see in mine I have 4 or 5 different ideas there. Hooks. Hooks are huge. We're going to get to those. Props and sound bites. Props and sound bites. TV loves props. Don't go out there and be a talking head. It's really hard, but any single topic that you guys may want to talk about. I mean, Nick here, no matter what he wants to talk about, he can grab 5 $1 bills, turn them into 5 100s, and that's the whole story. I mean, it's fantastic. You can light up, so if it's magic, or if you're talking about plumbing, or if you're talking about electrical, if you're talking about someone banging their head from not being able to do their technology, get a toy doll and just, anything. It's always fun to have props. TV loves props. And sound bites are great. Every show I go on, I just go, this is the sound bite I need to nail for this show, for my sizzle reel. So find ways to encapsulate your entire message into nice, tight, single sentences. Boy, TV loves sound bites. That's what they'll play, and that's what they'll talk about after your segment is. Appropriate costume. This is a weird one. This is something the media coach I work with really loves when people go on in costumes. And I did a couple shows, you sound like some weird chef outfit. It felt so wrong. Like inside of me the whole time I'm going, this isn't me, this isn't my message. So I did a couple of them for my sizzle reel. I wanted to have some variety on there. But the truth is, I looked at people who were in the market. Michael Palin, Deepak Chopra, a bunch of other food authors I can't even think of right now. And they're just wearing nice author clothes. And I thought, you know what, that's where I'm switching to. I'm just going to wear a jacket, shirt, and I feel so much more me. If it looks fake on the inside, it's going to sound horrible coming out of you. So whether it's right, if you're going to talk about technology, man, get the pocket protector and get the big glasses and go out and be a costume. It's great. If you're a mechanic and you want to give people 4 tips to save $2,000 a year on their car, that's a segment that's ready to go on TV tomorrow. But go on in a jumpsuit with some grease on it, Just really look different and have fun with it. Smile. From the second I walk through the door at a TV show, I just smile. Every second I'm talking, every word I say, I try to smile while I'm talking. When I'm talking to the producers, when I'm getting something, and it feels weird and it looks wonderful. It's really weird. When you see someone on TV, you go, wow, what was it about them? Yeah, they're smiling the whole time. How about that? It's really powerful. So let's dig into all these line items I gave you. Let's go a little deeper into them. So segment producers, this is a phone call. And it's about a 45-second to a minute phone call, believe it or not. And it's really cool how we do it. Did I cover it here? Yes. Can I speak to the person who books guests on the morning news? That's it. So you call the station, you call ABC Sacramento on Broadway Street. It's what I did when I got on that show. And I say, can I speak to the person who books guests on the morning news? They say, hold on. You go straight into the pitch. There's no Mr. Nice Guy here. There's like, hey, how you doing? Good weekend? It's like the second they pick up the phone, and I use these segment proposals as my guide. I kind of have them on the screen. So I will start by just saying, the AMA says that 48%, 70% of the people in Reno and 38% of the kids in Sacramento and 38% of the kids in Sacramento are either overweight or obese. As the author of I Love Me More Than Sugar, I say that it's because we've been bribed, rewarded, and punished with sugar since the day we were born. And then I'll just say, as a 4-time world juggling champion, I'm going to juggle an 8-pound bowling ball to show you how much sugar Americans eat in food. And by the end of this phone call, they haven't said anything, and then they go, when are you available? And you guys can do that with car saving tips, with technology coaching, with business coaching, with, yeah.
What time do you make that call?
Yeah, so producers work weird hours, 11 at night till about 9 in the morning. It's kind of a brutal job. So you can call them at night if you're up, because they're getting ready for the news. So when you see anchors and they're all perky in the morning, like, wow, how did they get there so quick? Now this is the end of their day. So, you know, they have the weird hours. So yeah, the calls are really good. Like, so the shows go from 5 to 7. I like to call like 7:15. And I've gotten shows by calling at night too.
In the AM.
Yeah, in the AM, right in the morning.
How do you get their contact info?
Yeah, Google Business. Google Business, if you go onto Google, and this is really actually a really good tip, I should show you guys live. But if you go into Google and just like ABC Sacramento, there's going to be a whole bunch of listings here, but there's also a map view. And I always call the number that's on that map view. It's just like the station number. And all these get you into weird places, like don't go to the contact and call the news department. Call the generic number, say who books guests on the news. Yeah.
Do you stand up when you introduce yourself?
I stand up on the phone all the time. Yeah. I do coaching for people. I did a coaching session this morning. I'm on my feet for an hour and a half. I have one of those mics on the boom arms on my desk, and I just bring it up. I am not good at sitter. There's one show on here that I sat on, and it's like, oh, yeah, I don't do good. For me, there's no energy. It all falls to the floor if I'm sitting down. So straight into the pitch, and yeah, and use the segment proposals as a guide. I think I walked through that. The segment proposal, I covered the segment proposal here on the next slide, actually. And then these are big. We're going to do a slide on hooks, but really just get these words, local, timely. If your segment can have a local and timely hook, you're done. You'll be booked, and you don't fall flat on the floor. If you could, so every town I go to Google and I write overweight and obesity in New Mexico, and I just plug in those numbers, or I do Phoenix or Las Vegas or Chicago, any of the shows I've done, and then I use that in my segment proposal about their local area. And then if it's something like, I always do shows, I did shows on Valentine's Day and around Valentine's Day. It's great, because I have one called, what is it, how to have a sugar-free, the sweetest Valentine's.
How to have a sweet Valentine's Day without sugar.
Without sugar, right, so just a title like that. And then there's titles, everything, you know, National Diabetes Day, I can do all those.
How much in advance do they book?
Yeah, so good question. Anywhere from the night before to a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so if it's a topical thing that's coming up, you'd be really good to give them a couple weeks notice. You know, so if what's coming up here, like I did all the fall, I did a whole bunch of my shows because kids were going back to school, and I ran around and did this sneaky sugar-free snack replacements for school lunches. And I was just bopping from shows, just talking about things you can put in a kid's lunch that aren't loaded with sugar. And the effects of that, not pumping them up with sugar in the morning, doesn't set the insulin level so high that that's all the brain can think about is maintaining that, and the benefits of a protein breakfast.
Ants
So,
on a log.
sorry?
Ants on the log.
Ants on a log, man.
I watched your
Right,
videos.
from the back of the book. My ants on the log photo. Yeah. So it's really fun to talk about this stuff. So yeah, timely hooks. What do we get into here? So let's talk about segment proposals. You guys have seen them. I passed one around. What is my segment proposal? Anything. I think we've covered that. Really, no matter what your topic is, don't get hung up that my niche isn't right for TV. You can always find a segment. Go to YouTube and just type in news segment on whatever you want to type in. What does someone do here that they think they may not be able to get on TV? Let's write a segment for you. Real quick.
Software.
So you get away from software and you get into the problems that it cures for people. The problems they're having now and different ways historically they've tried to solve it. And here's 3 things you can do right now to solve these problems for yourself. And then you go, wow, do you have some kind of thing? Yeah, actionplanner.com. Go see what we got a free gift for you right there. So, anyone else have one? We can do a segment real quick.
Children's books involving special needs.
Yeah, that can't be done. No. That one won't work. That's incredible, right? How many special days a year are there for kids like that, you know, where we take observance of something? Or there's a great website called National Holiday. You look up national holidays. Every single day of the year has 5, 10 things it is, and those are wonderful for timely hooks. So find the special needs that the book is dealing with. And also, I mean, you know, let's go a little higher altitude on what you're doing. It's not about a book for special needs. It's about giving kids or families a new way to look at their life, about giving kids an opportunity that they've never had, about helping the general population as a whole see them as whole people, not as someone with a disability. You start going up in the sky to look at your thing, because you're down here in the trees, and what does the whole thing look like from above? There's a much bigger picture those books are painting. And there's a place for that on the news every single day, and you looked the part to talk about that beautifully. Yeah. Yeah. Who else can't do a segment? Oh, yeah.
In senior life planning, I'm a career ICU nurse. Most people want to die at home. Most of them die in ICU with us, and most of it is worthless. Puts them and their families through hell. When I take people through the process of how do you really want the last stages to be, it has a 9/11 effect, so they think about how they really want their life to be now. They're not just whirling dervishes in death's waiting room after they retire.
My goosebump sensor goes off. Yeah, my goosebump sensor goes off. You look the part to speak about that perfectly. And what's your education? Do you have a...
I'm a career ICU RN
Yeah.
and a social worker.
I mean, I don't know if Friday's too soon for you to do a segment, but you could book it. Seriously. I mean, that could happen any time. And there's, again, like with the book stuff, there's a dozen holidays throughout a year when it's a good time to talk about that. Be it New Year's, tax days, grandparent day, you know, Alzheimer's day, whatever, you know. Just the timely hook is right there. And then the local hook is how many people you go into Scottsdale to do Morning Blend, how many people in Scottsdale are going to die in ICU this year? That's your pitch for the opening. I tell you, this stuff used to be so different. You used to have to pay a PR agent $2,300 to make this phone call that I just told you how to make. And it was $2,300 per TV show that you pay a PR agent to do this. And it was the only way on. Now producers are literally sitting around waiting to hear from all of you.
Wow.
I'm picturing the difference between your personality and her personality.
I got you, yeah.
We look at you and think, oh, do they want an actor? Do they want somebody? It's like, do they want just kind of normal people?
Yeah. I'm leaving. Yeah, it's an excellent question. Yeah.
Authenticity.
Authenticity, passionate, you guys just nailed it. You had so much passion in what you were just saying right now, and you have your sound bites ready. I mean, you just told an amazing story.
You won me over.
Oh, good.
And I wasn't even looking at you.
And the props that you could have, I mean, the props that you could have right now jump out at me. Your own pillow that you've had on your bed. I would cry.
Yeah.
Your own pillow you've had on your bed your whole life versus, you know, a hanging, a tube. You know, which do you want to... Yeah.
Or as palliative care doctors say when they train nurses, I want to die with my panties on. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a good soundbite. So, yeah, but they don't, you know, it's not all me. It's not me. You know, I was the guy, I went to this program, which I'll tell you guys about at the end in case you really want to go deep dive into this. It's in LA, this program I did. It was 4 days in the think tank that I'll never forget a single minute of it. But I was the only me in the room. There was a lady in there who did a thing about long-term elder care for her dad across country, teaching people how to that. There was someone who started a foundation about keeping sexual abuse away from kids, you know, awareness around that whole. And who were some of the other people? One guy was a coach who was a young, like, creative coach. Who was sitting next to me? Oh, sitting next to me was America's oldest bisexual grandma. I mean, she was great. But she talked about coming out to your grandkids. Straight across from me was a business coach. It's funny, I remember this table like it was there. It was last February when I went down to do this. So, but yeah, I get you. Great questions. Good time for you to raise your hand and say my lizard brain's creating reasons. Yeah, it is. Good for you for telling yourself. Good. Really good. So the segment can be about anything. Problems people are having, very big. You know, any problems people are having. Three kinds of problems, right? Problems that people will tell you they're having. Problems they know about that they won't tell you about they're having. And then right over there, problems they don't even know they have. Yeah. So those are the 3 problems you can really tackle well in a TV segment, beautifully. So problem people are having, preferably lots of people. If lots of people are having the problem, it's got even a broader appeal. Get a statistic or two. You know, I opened mine up with something about the AMA, and now there's a great one. The World Health Organization says that women should have 6 teaspoons of sugar a day, maximum, and men 9 teaspoons a day. There probably isn't anyone in here who didn't blow through that halfway through breakfast. You know, it goes very fast. 6 teaspoons, that's 24 grams, and if you look at a glass of orange juice or, you know, any kind of stuff like that, it goes fast. So that's a great statistic I open with, and it's a soundbite I have on my reel. And then get out and pitch it. So let's talk about what we do to pitch it. How do we do it? How do we pitch it? I don't know, what did I write? Let's see. Segment proposal. So I pass these around, let's just break through them. So this is kind of a bold statistic. You open it, these top handful of paragraphs have a very specific purpose. Open it with some bold statistic that can be verified. Second, this is according to the author, according to the person who's going to be doing it, and make some kind of a quote. And this is where I do my one about being bribed, rewarded, and punished with it since birth. Third, in this segment, talk about what the segment's going to do, what it's going to leave the viewer with. What's the viewer going to take away? Fourth, always talk about your juggling demonstration. This is really where you just put in your own props. In your case, you would talk about some pictures from your book and what they mean to kids, the new vision it gives them about the possibilities of life. Yours would be the props. You know, you're going to bring props to show which bag of props would the person rather in their life with. You know, that's powerful stuff.
Are you supposed to be talking in third person or talking from?
Yeah, because you don't know who's going to be reading this, so it's not I. So yeah, write these in third person. They're great.
Why do you feel it necessary to juggle?
I juggle because it's great eye candy for TV, and it plays on my. I usually get introduced as a 4-time world juggling champion who's now sugar-free.
So you're tying it, okay.
You don't think that has anything to do with your success in getting on these shows, your credentials and your background?
That I'm going to make an exciting segment does, but I sat in a room, I'll tell you about this this workshop I did, but we sit in front of 15 producers, and Jan, I had that exact same story in my head. I'm going to ace all these because I've been on Tonight Show, because I've done a presidential command form. But you know what? I saw other people just ace them who were just regular people on Thursday who had no idea of the segment they wanted to do. And it's really, news producers are hungry, and they're watching you for, can you speak? Do you smile? Can you look in the camera? Do you look trustworthy? Is the message you're sharing something that makes sense? Are you kooky? You know, yeah, looking for all that stuff. Are you kooky? Nothing personal. I was looking right at you when I said that. I mean, I love you.
You got it. You nailed it.
I used to play some people on Sacramento and Company, and they really wanted entertainment value.
Yeah. And Sack and Company is a great show. You saw that on the reel there. Yeah. That's a pay-to-play show, which is really interesting. So I've been on that show twice now.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't then. So this is a great show. Sack and Company is a great one for everyone here if you want to get on. They love guests. They have a certain amount of spots. Pay-to-play means you'll have like the guy who does solar and the guy who sells fireplace inserts and a guy who does home security. And they make it look like a news show, but you know, they're paying $1,000 or whatever bucks to be there. But they'll have a couple spots every week. Maybe I think there's 4 or 5 spots a week that are for authors, community events, public interest, things that aren't paid, and that's what I've been on. And I love going on those as the author one. And we'll talk about the author thing in a second too. Yeah, so Sack and Company's a great show, and local and fun, and you just pop down there. Cynthia, what's her name? Cynthia.
Well, I was working with Lily. I know Cynthia too.
Yeah, she's the segment producer down there, but great person. Just got her on a cold call. And yeah, does some of that come into play, Jan? Maybe, but it's, you know, it's an asset I have. But I also sat in a room with 10 other people and watched them do it. No one booked as many as me, but still. Just saying. Yeah, just the facts. Good. So the next thing, I try and pop in, and this is funny. This was on the suggestion of our mentor in the program. He said, you know, TV loves celebrities. They love to connect. I have not been on a TV show where they ever got to this, but it's something nice for the segment producer. So, you know, your piece might be celebrities that died the way they wanted to, you know, and how that worked. But the celebrity tie-in seems to be really big. People love that. Next is a formula. And this is a really big part of TV. So I have a free formula. And these, they'll always have like a graphic card put together for you. Like they replace your picture on the screen when they're talking about this thing. It's called B-roll. So they'll roll the graphic slide and you just talk over it. So I talk about fruits. Fruit's a healthy sugar that your body knows what to do with. It comes with fiber. And then I just talk about each of those things. But so that's maybe about 30 seconds of the whole segment. But that's something they love to have. It's something that tells them this person's a pro. They put together a little formula for us. And then you have a little picture and a bio about yourself, contact information with a phone that you'll always answer unless you're doing a talk at NCO. And yeah, and that's all a segment proposal has to be. These are, again, available on sugarfreeberry.com. I have 4 or 5 proposals there that you can take a look at and copy the format of for your own. Good. Hooks, man, these are big. Local and timely. Those are the #1 most important. Dates that are coming up, special occurrences, or timely things that are happening in their city or in the news. Those are huge. And if it's a timely hook and you have a segment about it, and it just comes, call. Just call. You can be on the next day or the day after that. And you may even get some better spot and be on evening news. One of the guys in our workshop got on NBC Nightly News, which is crazy. You shouldn't be doing that. You know, I mean, yeah. But he was talking about something that was so timely, and he pulled off the phone call. Yeah. Stand up on the phone too, man. I mean, I don't really care. You know, I don't know who you're asking about if you're not me or you're not. But I'm telling you, standing up on the phone is so different to the world. You asked about that, right? I mean,
I've seen it and been trained to do it.
Yeah, and it's funny you asked me about it, but yeah, I
want to make sure you're doing it.
You're not kidding, man. I can't. I have no choice. It's funny. I went in to do one of the TV shows, and I was like, "There's any way we could like stand?" They had this couch for us, and I was like, "Ooh." And they did run us at the last second in stools, but I got up 4 or 5 times off that stool. It's bad.
So what are the odds as far as like the amount of calls that, say, the average person would make? Sorry, I raised my hand again.
Good. Good for you.
How many, like, does it take a lot of calls before you actually could land something?
Yeah. So there's definitely a strategy about the phone. And I gave you that opening sentence, which is kind of what I use, and then I hit the segment proposal and go right into the pitch. But I never leave a voicemail. I mean, I just don't leave a voicemail. If I call and I find out the person's name and I get sent to them and it goes to voicemail, I hit 0 and I go back and I say, is this person in the building? Could you page them? Could I get them on? Oh, they're in a meeting. They'll be out in 10 minutes. It's funny, that business, they don't hide that much. I mean, it's not like salespeople or, there's some people that just hide. You can't find them. These people actually do want to get on the phone with you and see how it goes. But it's sometimes a matter of logistics. They're in a meeting, the show's just still on air, or they're talking to another guest, but I really do everything. I'll leave a message, but I'm probably 6 calls into trying by the time I leave a message. But I don't have good luck with messages, so your question was, the percentage. If you get them on the phone and you follow this format and you have something to say that's meaningful and they can feel it, the next thing they're gonna say is email me the proposal, and you have the whole email up all ready to go. You drop in the PDF's already dropped in, you say, what's the best address? You type it in, you hit go, and you kind of hang on with them. You say, hey, did you get it? Could you check? Because sometimes they get lost. And they're like, oh yeah, I got it right here. So.
I just wanted to say, when I did my book, I did something similar and got on the radio. Nice. I did a whole bunch of radio. So the formula that you're showing us is even easier on radio.
Is it?
They're not looking for the visuals.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You have to sit down when you're having your meetings.
Exactly. Yeah.
I got an obstacle on a possible uphill battle. I wrote a book about corruption in government, and the very first chapter is about mainstream media news. So, I need your expertise to say, how the heck does Mel get on?
How do you navigate that?
How do I exactly navigate? I don't mind doing it.
Yeah. And it's funny, I mean, I even talk about one of the hooks on here. I think, let me put these up, technology, let me say, against conventional wisdom.
Yeah.
That's a huge hook that they love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, TV news loves against conventional wisdom hook.
Okay.
Yeah, so how do you get onto that? Don't mention that on the phone call. I'd say that's a huge piece.
I already figured that out.
What's that?
I came here, but your expertise would have to
pay attention to the fact that there is corruption, and so the whole purpose of the book is.
Yeah. What's the title?
Simple Obtainable Solutions. I had 7 years of research. I worked for 2 newspapers.
Yeah.
So I have some really good insights and,
Yeah, man, I bet that's
personal
great.
experiences.
I mean, I'm just speaking from my personal perspective, but I listen to a lot of interesting podcasts, and there are some podcasts that have an amazing following right now, and
Oh
they're
my gosh.
looking for controversial subjects,
really?
just like that. And they're not on the mainstream.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of stuff that people want to hear. They don't want to hear that. Why does he not listen to the news? Because it's irrelevant
Yeah.
so many times.
Who's the guy at night? He's on AM stations, Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's so great. Like sometimes that's all that comes in. He has the most powerful signal in the world. It's like satellite doesn't even reach the car, but George Norrie is loud. He's great, man. He sounds like a guy who would be fun to talk to.
Naturalnews.com.
Yeah.
They're always a controversial.
You know, it may be great for you to get your feet wet on some podcasts and some of these other shows, so you really get your sound bites together.
What was the AM radio gentleman you spoke?
Oh, George Norrie, Coast to Coast.
And Arjuna just got off Coast to Coast.
Did he? Wow.
And he said his website crashed. I mean, I heard it through somebody, that you have to have your website ready if
No,
you're on Coast to Coast.
I bet.
Because you've got all these thousands of listeners all going to your website as soon as they announce it.
This show's on from like 1 till 6 in the morning. There isn't a conspiracy theory they don't love. And so, you know, you get some interesting traffic coming to your website, I'm sure. But yeah, that might be right up your alley. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the only station you get out in Nevada.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though all this is good, I wouldn't rule out TV.
No, yeah.
I'm not giving the producers too much credit if you think they're all reading the book at every pitch they hear.
Amen.
You PDF the 3 chapters you thought were least upsetting to them.
Yep.
Right, you send them, they may never read that.
And it's funny, you know, along those lines, I didn't even talk about this part, maybe I do later. It was a long night putting these slides, or this morning putting these slides together. But I didn't even have my book written for the first 22 shows I did. It was all just testing. It was testing feedback from the reporters, the sound bites, what was important, what mattered, and it was knocking off the 50 shows I need to do on the way to the Today Show. I'm not into waiting. So I had a cover made up. It's not even the cover I have on my book on all these TV shows. But it didn't matter. I just went to town building my numbers and really testing. Everyone was about testing. So, but the funny part about that was on one of the shows, I love what you say in the book. It's like it was somebody else's book. You know, it had my cover wrapped around it. But you know, that's the way, they're trying to make a nice segment out of this thing.
5 segments a day, they're not reading all the books.
No, but when someone said to me, I love what you say in the book, and it was one of the sound bites from my proposal, but it wasn't in the book. You know, that was Simon Sinek's book inside my cover. And I met Simon Sinek at TED. I went on with him right before him at TED. And at the airport, I said, man, I've been traveling. I've done 18 shows so far with this book. And he goes, oh, it's awesome. Why do you keep it in a plastic bag? And I said, well, because I only have one. And I showed him the inside. He cracked up. Yeah. So yeah, they're not reading it right now. It's the proposal, the way you pitch it. That said, don't get on the air and go crazy. You know, don't say, hey, you know, the news sucks and it's crazy. You know, go a little lighter on the approach.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah, that'll be a little tricky. Yeah, but it'll be a good ways to navigate for you. So props, yeah, please.
Go back to that slide, because you said technology, money saving, but you didn't really cover that.
Sure, so these are just different hooks that TV likes. You know, if you have a technology hook, like one of the guys in our group did a thing, like the second the iPhone 5 came out, he said 5 hacks for the iPhone 5. Man, he got booked everywhere. He was driving up and down the coast, doing shows like on that, because it had just come out, it was timely, and it was technology. Money saving, you know, 3 ways to drop $2,000 off your annual grocery bill. Things like that, you know, and the automotive one I mentioned earlier, you know, if you can tell people, everyone drives a car, if you can tell them how to save, you know, extend their oil changes to 10,000, whatever.
So I just have a follow-up question. On those, they're called segment producers, is that right?
Segment proposals?
Segment proposals,
yeah.
the producers. Do they segment the topic like, this is our business segment, this is our technology segment, we have an expert talking on business? Do they?
Yeah.
Because I don't watch TV either. So.
Right, and I'm not too sure about that. It doesn't seem like it. You know, it seems like when I go on, I just pitch this and, you know, they're talking about a crash and a ski accident and then, hey, they're talking about sugar. You know, yeah. So I don't think it's that important. Some shows, I mean, but then there's all these shows that I want to start talking to when I get a little more experience and sea legs on this. But like CNN has like a health segment, you know, I want to get on those things, and those are very segmented.
And we can say we knew you when.
Yeah.
Could you sign my hand?
Tattoo it.
Yeah. I know where his house is. Creepy. Yeah, props. Yeah, so getting booked as talking head, I said you have to be very compelling or maybe even famous just to get booked as a pure talking head. Really good and really easy to come up with props. I promise you, if that's your hard part, talk to a guy who's been juggling 33 years. And not even juggling, just having props, playing with props. I mean, everyone who's mentioned stuff so far has great prop ideas. Yeah, be outrageous, man. Take some risks. Go out there, even if it's not scary. Like we got the, going through this workshop, the America's Favorite Bisexual Grandma. She's 74, sparky as anything, lives in West Hollywood. But they got her just brainstorming about her props was like these huge glasses, and she did like the Elton John, you know? She had like 3 kinds. You don't want to do like the Ellen DeGeneres, the George Michael, or the Elton John. And she had props for each one of them, you know, like Ellen came out in front of millions of people. You don't want to do that. You want to do it with the family. Little tips about it. So, but the props were great. Really made it into a nice segment. Yeah, they helped enforce the message. And it's funny, you know, I think, oh, I'm going to be too outrageous on TV. But when I get back after doing a segment, I just walk back into the green room and I'm like, man, is it too big? And then I watch it on TV, and the first thought in my head is, I could have played that bigger. But it's funny, TV sucks, as it goes through the airwaves, you know, by the time it gets to the person sitting at home, it's smaller. So big smiles, big props, loud, speed up the speech a little bit, you know, don't speak at a very slow pace on TV. Everything's a little bigger on TV, and then it lands normal. Yeah. And then I use the props to just connect dots, you know, like the juggling one. I do an 8-pound bowling ball, the amount of sugar people eat in 3 weeks, a tennis racket, which is about exercise, what our bodies are made to do, and then an apple, a healthy form. And then, but within that, I can weave together a message that leaves the person with something else. And, you know, you could do a powerful one with your segment about props that really takes it beyond the beyond that, and gives us something real to hold on to. And the prop master, yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff too, with anything you want to talk about, yeah. Yeah, good. So let's just talk about some of the basics of kind of like what you wear and what you do. So when I wear, you know, like I said, the sizzle reel, I build everything backwards from the sizzle reel, so I tried never to wear the same jacket or shirt or costume, and I tried a couple chef hats, and just, you know, just a couple of crazy things to make it, think about the end result as you go into this thing. Small patterns get real funky on TV, so go with solids and, you know, nice bold colors. Look the part, we covered that in the costume stuff, the mechanic, the doctor, the nurse. I mean, you would be so great going on in scrubs. I mean, I would just go right in nurse's gear on this segment. Nothing, I wouldn't even play with any other look. You know, 8 different colors of scrubs in every segment, stethoscope and whatever you're going to use. But that's perfect for TV. Talk about authority too. You know, all of a sudden you're home and you have you want to have people on a website or a program where you coach people through that part of their life, or write a book. And you got pictures of you with all the logos and your scrubs on, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. Which I'm sure you do, but I mean.
You know, some of the doctors.
Yeah, the doctors. I just saw a clip on that the other day because I was gathering statistics for a segment I was going to go on, and I found that on YouTube.
I'll see you in the green room.
What's that?
I'll see you.
You going? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. But that's funny. I didn't even know that show was on there. And one of the clips that I wanted some data about, I went on the other day and found.
If she's wearing insignia that shows the hospital where she works, and she would say bad things about the hospital or about.
I would probably go with unmarked scrubs.
Yeah. Okay.
I would just go with. Yeah, I would just go with
and
scrubs.
I'm retired.
Oh, that's so good. Man, that story just got better. That's, you know, that does. That story's, yeah, that's good, you know. And you got out of it because you were sick. I'll tell you, you got out of it because you were sick of really the way the hospitals handled it without dignity.
And Jan can attest, there's a reason why I got out.
Yeah.
It was because of a dying patient.
Yeah.
I'm going to write in that's why.
Get on Friday. Make a stretch right now. I'll help you get on Friday. You can go on. You could, man. I'll help you get on by the end of the week. You're done. Put a fork in her, as they say down in the South. I love that. She's done. Put a fork in her. I love that. I remember the first time someone said that to me in the South. And who knows? And Bob's your uncle. Who knows that expression? I just heard that the other day. Man, I couldn't believe how great that was. Bob's your uncle. That was great. It was at the end of a long stream, someone said. I was like, okay. And I went right to Wikipedia, and I was like, wow, Bob's my uncle. You have to look it up. Okay, Bob's your uncle is like, it's old. It's all good. It all good. It means that's what it is. You're done.
It's now a brand name for high-end office products. Somebody
Is it?
says that, yeah, out of the UK. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Funny, you know. I always think, I've been out so in the world, just so many places, and when I hear something new, I'm like, wow. Wow! Did someone say that and I wasn't listening once, or what? It's so great. So, you know, I have this attitude about treating every single show like the biggest show, and this comes from something I did on stage as a performer for 33 years. Sometimes it'll be a big conference and people are drinking, or they just eat a bunch of sugar, or it's right before lunch and they're not listening. But in my head, I always say this is the biggest show I've ever done. And within a minute, people come on board. They feel that instead of, because I've seen performers who go, this crowd sucks, and that's the story playing in their head, you know, and boy, it just comes through. So I treat every show like the Today Show. So when I go on the Today Show, I'm going to be like, John, I've been here 30 times, no problem. Oh, I just said 30, maybe that's my number. It just rolled out, I'm into that.
So have you actually measured sales tied in?
Yeah, I do. Well, it's funny, and this is a great part of that story. I sold that book. I went on 22 TV shows without having that book, so I didn't have any marketing. But I've done a couple now with the book, and it's funny. I just go in the green room. It's like Kindle sales, 40 during the segment, and then like the last one I did in Reno, I sold about 170 books between Kindle and paperback. Just from a little thing, but then also it just starts to spread. People came to join the membership site. I had maybe 10 or 15 new people join the membership site that day.
You're going to talk about that too.
There's one online. I talked about membership sites here about, I think, 16 months ago. I was here, and I talked all about online membership sites. You should watch that. It was fun. I juggled in that one for real.
So what is the objective? To sell the book or to sell the sign-up service?
Yeah, so there's kind of three objectives now when I go on a TV show. It's one's to chalk up the numbers for the Today Show. One is to sell books, and then the other is hopefully the books lead people to the membership site.
So which is the biggest profit maker for you?
Membership site. Cost me nothing, and people join it, yeah.
And so what do they get when they join the membership site, Barry?
Yeah, so that's all being done right now. So the membership site's a 30-day coaching program, and it's just emails. They get them every day, and that takes them to landing pages that have videos, support audios, recipes of what to eat today, mindset stuff to play with. Vince, 90 days, right?
Yes.
90 days sugar-free. And he went through some of my stuff. And it was funny, he was just telling me right before this, he goes, I was having this whole argument because I was telling someone about my wife, right? Telling my wife about something she was eating or something, and it's like the next day I opened the book and it was like, don't try and push this on others. Because I wrote this program in real time. I stayed one day ahead of a group of 80 people. I first took through 30 days sugar-free, and I had a Facebook group, and I said, get involved, tell me what's going on in your life, the challenges, and then I would just write about that for the next day. So it was really funny. I loved hearing that lined up for him. Yeah, it's about day 12 or 14, people around you start going, you're really starting to piss me off. So I think I wrote about that on that day. It was, hey, this is your challenge, this is not you're not Gandhi. Okay. Yeah, and stand up. Hey, I've covered that. That's the energy rule. So what happens in the studio, let's just take a walk through this. It's really quick. Like, I joke that there's about 3 minutes and 45 seconds that a producer cares about me, the 45 seconds on the phone, and then the 3 minutes on the show. And sometimes it goes to 4. I was on Sack & Company last week, though, and they said, my gosh, someone didn't show up. Can you do 7 minutes? I was like, wow, yeah, that'd be perfect. But 99% of that time, it'll go the other way. Can you do 2.5? So you have to be ready. It really goes in a blink. And the things to be ready are the second they introduce you, boom. It's your conversation, it's your show, you take over. Don't wait for the first question. And you can go on sugarfreeberry.com, and all my segments, all my TV segments are there, and you can just see like the first 10 seconds how I do it. They introduce me, and then I'm off like they just pulled the cord. Yeah, take over. So careful what you say during the commercial break, because this is so funny. They don't have time to study you. A lot of times they come over, they're handed the PDF on the way over, they put it down, they go, oh, that's interesting. So what you say to them, and I learned this really the hard way, like somehow, I don't know, the guy was from somewhere, but I ended up talking about my brother. Our next guest has a brother that went to UC. But that's it, that's your time. So, that was very early in my game, but now it's like everything we talk about during that 30, 60 seconds during the commercial right before me is prepping what I want him to say, and that's what they do. So it's a great trick. That one alone is worth the price of today's talk. Smile from the second you walk in the door. I got that. Do your own makeup. You don't go and they have these studios. So I've been good at makeup for 30 plus years from my world. Yeah.
I was watching someone that I had on Sacramento and Company, and she didn't realize the camera was on her, and she was not smiling, she was frowning. It's really
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah. I should have paused on that one for a second because that's huge. My trigger point,
Good thoughts, yes.
my trigger point is from when I open the door to go in the studio. I mean, that's really when I go, okay, I'm on right now, because I don't know if I'm on. You know, there's cameras all over. I'm meeting the receptionist. I'm meeting the producer. They're coming out. So I'm always, the second I grab that door handle, and that certainly involves, but oh my gosh, when they're in commercial breaks, just be practicing. And no matter how weird it feels, it actually looks natural on TV. It's the strangest thing in the world. It actually looks natural. You're like, wow, that's why people look good. I mean, you get a guy like Charlie Rose who hasn't smiled since the 40s, but that looks natural on him, and he's great. You know, that's almost his smile. But that's his look. So, yeah, makeup, do your own makeup. And, oh, position mirroring. This is really a cool thing, and I learned this. And there's a clip in my sizzle reel where the guy in Arizona who's grabbing the bowling ball. But that's when it really got to me, was that segment. And I just said, no matter what this guy does with his hand, I'm going to kind of do. And it's one of my favorite segments because it's really, there's this whole synchronicity kind of happening about how he's talking and how he's doing things. He puts his hands on the table. So, and I talked to the coach about that, and he's like, yeah, that's powerful. It sends a great message to the viewers that you're as powerful. Yeah, and it builds rapport. It made him feel very comfortable. But there's a great clip, and on YouTube, that clip, for some reason, just we're both standing there like this. And it's really funny. Or, yeah, we had some nice hand position the same. So, yeah, so just another nice tip to play with.
Do you ever get a choice of where you sit, or the host always sits in one spot and because you always seem to be to the right of the host in most of your clips?
Yeah, and it's funny that you asked that, Susie. I never really think about it consciously. I never say, hey, can I get this side? But
you probably don't have a choice.
It's probably the host's good side. Wow, there's the voice of experience from the TV show. I bet you that is what it always is. Yeah.
You can request to sit the other way.
Yep, yeah.
If you're aware of it.
That whole sitting part freaked me out that you just said, but yeah, but you could. My brain locked up when you said sit, but yeah. But yeah, I'm sure you could request that, and if they're not side conscious, they probably do it. But yeah, yeah, so what's going on there? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so yeah, let me talk about this workshop, and let me put these up. I went to this workshop. I knew that I found this thing online, or someone had recommended it to me, and it wasn't cheap, but it was also the best money I've ever spent. I think I paid $10,000 to go there. It was 4 days locked in a room, and when I left, I said, I could have easily spent 2 years and probably $20,000 and never had one single clip, and instead I have the sizzle reel. So on hindsight, it seemed like a lot to spend, but it was also the cheapest money in the world. He's available as a media coach. This is his website. Go on and see what he's doing, guaranteedcelebrity.com. He does a workshop every month. So there's 10 or so people a month in there. You know, really training people. And this is incredible. You get there Wednesday night. There's like a meet and greet Wednesday night. Thursday morning, you hit the ground running. Think Tank, they bring in amazing food. The food was probably 1,000 of it. But it was just great food, and it's on the lot where the Arsenio Hall show was shot. We went to the Arsenio Hall show at night, and KTLA News is right there. So it was very much in the environment of it. And it's a think tank. Every single person has hot seat time, and everyone's working on you, and he's writing your segment proposals during the time. And then, so that's Thursday and Friday, really tightening your message, and then Saturday and Sunday, on Skype with, I think it was like 15 producers around the country, one at a time. So the 10 of us would run our little horse and pony show to these producers, and face-to-face on Skype. So we did the phone call version live, and then it would end, so I got to watch everybody else, and then we do the second person, so we did that Saturday and Sunday. And at the end, I booked every show, which was awesome. I was really happy about that. And then you have to get on the phone and just get your date organized with them. But so, on hindsight, it was amazing. Cost a lot, and it's cheap, and the results were faster than I ever imagined. So it was something I wanted. It was something I needed. I was ready to take this message beyond the internet, just to find out who real people were and what it would be like. And research led me to understand that TV was a way to do it. Okay, so I wrote down. Yeah, please.
Will you send me these slides so I can post them with your video on
You bet.
Nevada County Online?
Yes,
so people
of
can come
course.
and see.
Yeah.
You can download these slides.
Absolutely. I put all these questions up, and I think we've covered a few of them in here. But look through these, and if you guys want to do any Q&A right now, or if you have other questions that aren't aren't on here, I'd love to spend a few minutes digging into it with you guys. Yeah, Susie?
I just want to, the media coach, that's the guy you went to the 4-day.
Yeah, I
And
guarantee.
does he still coach after
Yep.
the fact?
Yeah, guaranteedcelebrity.com, and then he has a webinar every Wednesday night for all his alumni can jump into, and you know, they show their segments, we talk about the segments, talk about what worked, what'll be better next time, and yeah.
When you want to sell books as part of your appearance, do you just send them to Amazon, or do you sell, like, do you have your own supply of books and then you recommend them to sell it to you, or?
Yeah, yeah, a couple ways to do that. So on the on the TV shows, I don't go to like, oh, go to this page / this. If they just say 30 days sugar free, and they'll put it on the lower third sometimes for you, which is nice. So people go there, and you kind of have your sales funnel in place when they get to the website. Here's the membership program, here's buy the book. And then, yeah, as far as the book, I bought, I think, 50 or 100 of them. People want them autographed sometimes, so I have a way just to buy it there with a PayPal button, and then we send them off. Or there's a link to Amazon. Here's a great tip, too. If you sell a book on Amazon, always link it to an affiliate code on Amazon. It costs nothing to have an affiliate link on Amazon, and over Christmas I made $1,800 from people buying TVs. There's a 24-hour cookie on Amazon, so when they click on there to buy your book, if they buy anything on Amazon, you get a 4 to 8% commission on that. So I mean, it's funny going on Christmas, $1,800 when I got this deposit from Amazon. I was like, man, I sold a lot of books, and I go, oh wait, my book's not out yet. I did a pre-sale of my Kindle book just to get #1 status, so I did a pre-sale launch, which I can talk about another time. But to get a book to #1 on Amazon, there's a great process used for that. But while people were there buying, pre-ordering my Kindle book, they'd buy a flat screen, or they'd buy a shaver, or whatever. And looking down the list of things that people bought when they clicked on Amazon to buy my Kindle book, I took the check and I didn't feel guilty, but I was like, wow, that was cool. So yeah, if you link people to Amazon, link them through an affiliate link. Yeah.
So, all of this information you have as far as like thinking about doing, you know, learning about the segment proposal and all of that, that didn't happen until you went to that workshop?
Yeah, I found out that I had to get on TV to really get this message big. I started researching how to get on TV and found some YouTube videos, found some of this. Found his thing, it was a very compelling argument, and I found somebody who had done it, and I talked to her on the phone, and she was on the Today Show like a few days before I talked to her. She was, I think, the first of his graduates to make it to the Today Show.
What was her subject matter?
Balloons. She talked about the helium crisis, which is a real thing, right? So she used that to get in, but then when they found out she makes crazy cats and can set up decorate your set, all of a sudden, she's on the Today Show with a hat for each of the hosts, and the segment behind, and now she's funny, she really did it a little bit backwards in my thinking, didn't have any way to monetize it, so she's on the Today Show, you know, with tons of clips, but now she's starting to sell, you know, how to make, she has some ebooks, she's written some Kindle books about, you know, how to have a $1,000 party for $20 or something, just fun titles, so pushing that. Doug, yeah?
So this is going to be, I just did a reading for my book called From Grief to Grace, and it's sort of about a journey through almost getting to a suicidal place and coming out. And a woman that heard me read it works for the Suicide Prevention Center. Now she wants to book me in counties up in Northern California. How can you make suicide fun on TV? Or what would you do with a subject like that to make it appealing to it?
It's all about the wording.
It's all about the wording, and it's not, and I'll just reposition one word there. We're not making it fun. We're making it meaningful.
Real.
Yeah, real and meaningful. The woman who, wonderful lady.
That's the deal.
Yeah, yeah, making it real and making it matter. And you can do that on TV. There's a woman in my group, Angela Williams. God, I forget the name of her organization. She's out of Atlanta. But boy, she was sitting right across from me at Celebrity Launchpad, and oh my gosh, her thing was so real. It was about stopping child abuse, and you know, there's a National Child Abuse Day, and she did it, and she's been the most successful in our group. CNN, and she's really hit a lot of big shows so far. But it's not always about fun, you know, and don't go back to the I'm a maniac slide. You know, that's my world, that's where I'm playing, but make it matter, make it real. Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, your hand went up right before that and I didn't see you, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's sort of the same thing like you offered earlier. I'll give you a problem, and then if you can help me kind of like grab somebody's attention. The problem is the U.S. consumes about 25% of global energy. Our homes in the U.S. use about 25% of U.S. energy. Homeowners, my outreach is to homeowners to get them to energy upgrade their homes. And it's really, like, they aren't getting it. It's really complex. There's no simple quick little
There's no forward.
So I want to, I've been really struggling with the message.
Yeah.
In a 6-second, I mean, how do I put that in a really quick thing?
Right. So, what I'd look at for you for the segment proposal for that third paragraph where you say, in this segment, what's your name?
Deborah.
In this segment, Deborah's going to leave the viewers with 4 tips that they can do right now to reduce their power bill by this amount and save this much of a percentage of a global footprint over the course of a year. So don't talk about the problem, talk about the solution. Yeah.
Thanks.
That's really big, yeah. And that one you can make fun. I mean, that could be really fun props.
Like what?
Oh man, I would get like some kind of a fun like model that just came to mind and have a tube coming out and a hairdryer on the other end. You turn on the hairdryer and you just have like streamers hanging everywhere on the house and they're all flying up. This is your forced air heating system, and have the windows under the doors where things leak out the roof and just all these streamers are sticking up. That's a very fun prop. So, I mean, that's 5 seconds of thinking. We could sit down and have tea sometime and give you 30 more.
Yeah, if the publisher puts a book on Amazon, how can you link it to an affiliate thing?
Yeah, you'd have to look up Amazon Associate Program. It's called the Amazon Associate Program, but anyone can get an affiliate link, an affiliate account there, and you can start sending traffic to Amazon with your account in it, with your affiliate link. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to belong to you, doesn't have to do anything. Just getting people to click on
Even
something.
if your blog has a list of like your 10 favorite books I recommend, you then do an affiliate, you make money every time somebody buys a book you recommend. Anytime you send someone to Amazon, you'll get money.
Yeah, and books are the small things. They're like the loss leader almost. Someone goes there and they're like, oh man, I need a new whatever it is. It's $400 bucks.
I need a new energy meter.
Yeah, I need a new energy meter. It's
Right.
$200. All of a sudden you're getting a check for whatever that is, $8 or something. But it adds up. Yeah, that's a whole other talk. I bet we're done. Oh, anyone else? Yeah, Doug, one more.
On another one, I have a client who she wrote a best-selling book on conscious business leadership, and she has a pretty highly successful consulting practice. But how could you leverage TV with that kind of a topic, conscious business leadership?
Yeah.
Leading from above the line.
Leading from above the line, yeah. It's once again, it's almost like Deborah's problem back there. It was look at the solutions, look at what it fixes, not the problem. Because there aren't, maybe the average viewer, I also like to think about the audience, who's watching TV at 7:30 in the morning. It's probably not conscious business leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I'll talk to you more about that one. But yeah, there's always a way to find it to turn into a segment. You guys, if you have any questions, sugar-free berry. I have about 8 of them if you want one of these. If you want to think about sugar, $10.
$10. $10.
Buy one
Get
and-
your dollars out. Buy one for.
And my gosh, thank you guys. I love that you guys were here.
All right,
Thanks, Susie.
Mr. Berry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey Barry, can I buy one of those books to raffle off?
I'll give you one. Raffle off. Oh, I'd love that. That'd be great on a raffle prize.
Do we have
Yeah.
everybody's business card?
No.
Everybody but Brian.
Well, let me give you guys one more tip on the way out while you're collecting cards. This was my Celebrity Launchpad book. He gives you these when you're in the workshop. He gives you this blank book. And he did the most amazing thing. This is a tip I recommend you do for any workshop you're in anywhere in the world. I don't do anything else like this anymore. He gave this book, and you can even see on the first page, I started writing my notes from the thing. He goes, no more of that. From now on, it's 1 tip per page. And this book, now I take this with me to every TV show, and I go like this before every TV show. And I'm not looking at bullet points or lines. Every page gets one idea in big writing. Yep. Don't say anything in the pre-interview that isn't on the segment proposal. There you go. That's one right there. What's my unique position? So I would just run through this. Present yourself in all of your glory. So I just, boom, backstage, I just run through that, and I'm like, turn me loose. Yeah. So do that with the workshops.
Okay, Nathan is helping, but you get to pick one out.
He's juggling.
I'm juggling. And the alter ego.
So we don't know the speaker yet for our next meeting, so tune in to our meetup group and you'll find out, because Corian will let us know.
Sorry, I was talking to the speaker.
Oh, the next person. For the next
Oh, yeah, it's not scheduled yet. We've got a few different candidates on top.
juggling it.
Yes. So just check back with Nevada County Online. And also, if you're not on it, we have a Facebook page as well. And we post information about upcoming speakers as well as other online topics.
Okay, so
Barry,
who's
you
going
wanna
to pick?
drop?
Oh, yeah.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the winner is
I don't have my glasses.
Vince Lucia.
Does he already have it?
He has my book, yeah.
Okay, you want another drawing?
Yeah, give it to someone else.
All right.
Thank you, Bill.
That's pretty cool.
Your pen was used for signing this one.
Wow.
It's so rare to win. It's a shame to waste it.
I know, buy a lottery ticket right now.
Barry, do you have plans of writing a book or talk?
On,
Evelyn.
On what you
Oh,
presented?
good. You win a lot, Evelyn. I don't know.
this is the first time I've ever talked about it.
Did you already send it? I mean, I think that's your next.
You can personalize it.
I know.
This one.
I have the Kindle version I bought, but I never have time to look at my Kindle.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you all. We hope to see you next month, whatever day it is. Somebody will tell us who has a...
Or Tuesday.
Or Tuesday, well, yeah, 11 o'clock. So, thank you, and if you want to stay for the leadership meeting, please do. We welcome your ideas.
You can take my place.
Thank you, everyone.